Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Hour tournament primer. This will be a separate little thing for tournament organizers to come on and talk about their tournaments and get you ready for the upcoming live streams or other events you might attend. With us tonight is Dustin Ware from the American Grappling Challenge organization. He came to tell us about the Ohio State Jiu-Jitsu Championships or Grappling Championships, my fault, in Cleveland, Ohio on November 14th. So, welcome, Dustin. It's been a while.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on, Dustin?
So,
Not much. Been busy.
yeah, you got a lot of stuff lined up for this event. Once you start, break down some of the events going on.
It was this event was actually like I'd say about 10 months in the making. I decided, early last year or late last year, I just said, we're going to see if we want to move the state championships, and so we put up a little poll and a couple of emails we had sent out, and it was kind of overwhelming. I mean, I put different locations, and everybody really wanted to see this tournament happen in Cleveland. And I said, okay, well, if I can make it work, if I can find a venue, then we'll move the state championships to Cleveland, and we'll see how it goes. And so we were able to, with the help of some people in the jiu-jitsu community there in the Cleveland area, secure a venue, and that part's history. But then, with all of our tournaments, we always try to figure out ways to I think one of the things that separates us from a lot of the other regional tournaments is that we always have some type of invite division. Whether it was the first ever all-female professional division in September, or whether it's, we try to bring in high-level, black belt competitors for small invites or even large. Last year we did the 16-man brown belt invitation. We had guys from all over the country. Format we haven't done a few times in the 9 or 10 years of existence of our organization, which is the no-gi team challenge. And the premise is pretty simple. We try to get teams together, maybe 4 teams. We do a dual wrestling thing where, we can get 3 guys from each team. And we always do no-gi because it's easier to match people up because, sometimes the blue belt, the brown belt doesn't want to go against the blue belt in the gi, but if it's no-gi, then it's okay because, if I get beat by this blue belt, he must be just a really good no-gi guy or whatever. So we always do no-gi. And, we set each team as a maximum weight limit. So each team was allowed to weigh up to a combined weight of 600 pounds, right? And so that lets you kind of fluctuate who's going to be on your team. And, it's going to be a blind draw. So none of these teams know who they're competing against until the morning of. And then even then, it's going to be another blind draw on who you're actually competing against. So not only do they not know the team, but they also don't even know who on that other team they're going to be competing against, which I think makes it more interesting. You can't game plan. You can't strategize. You basically just have to go out there and try to get the submission, right? So we were looking at, what teams we thought would be a good cross-section of the jiu-jitsu community in Ohio. We obviously wanted to get some local, local team involved, so we reached out to Strong Style. They were able to field a team. SAS team won the state championships last year, so, they wanted to put together a team. Vitor Rivera, being a GF guy, he wanted to put together a team, and they're always really competitive. Then obviously, the Helson Gracie / Gracie Umaita, we put together a team with those guys as well. So those are the 4 teams we were able to come up with. And I think, we just finalized the details last night, actually, of the rosters of all the teams. And so, I'd be happy to go over those, or if you guys have anything you want to add, or,
I go over the roster, Dustin. I want to hear about the roster. Go over it.
All right. So, the first roster I had was the GF team. These 3 guys are all very well known, and really all these guys are pretty well known, but these 3 definitely have some international level accolades. We have Dante Leon. He, been around the scene for a long time. He's a high level, still a purple belt, unbelievably so, but, he now represents GF team. He's out of Canada, but he spends a lot of his time now in Toledo at a place called Bad Dog. So we have Dante Leon, and then we have Robbie Maloff, who a lot of you are well aware of. He's out of Cincinnati, represents GF team as well. He's won multiple IBJJF titles. And then the third guy on their team is a Brazilian kid who I had met about 3 months ago, named Gutenberg Paia, I think is how you pronounce his last name. And if you're not familiar with him, he's like the next big potential name to come through GF team. I don't know if you guys are that familiar. He last year as a purple belt, he won. I want to believe he won. I know he won Worlds. I know he won Pan Ams this year at purple. I know he won Worlds this year at purple. I think he won the Nogi Worlds double gold in purple. He won the Rio or the Brazilian Nationals. I mean, he pretty much won everything in the world at purple belt. And then got his brown shortly after Worlds this year. And I saw him compete in my tournament in Cincinnati, and the guy's he's a stud. A lot of people on the team, GF team, compare him to like the next Adolfo Vieira. I mean, he's just a big, strong, athletic, young kid that's got room to grow. He's a talent for sure. So that's the GF team. For a SAS team, we have Cameron Knight, who a lot of people are familiar with. Cameron, Cameron's spent the last year or so, about 12 to 14 months now. He was over in Dubai teaching at one of the SAS team affiliate schools over there. He's back in the States now, and he's been doing a lot of training. This will be his first competition back since he's been back in the States. And then we have John Stutzman, who a lot of people again are very familiar with. He's competed in a multitude of AGCs and other invitational tournaments around. And then rounding out the team is a guy named Chris Harden. Chris is actually one of my students. But Chris has got, I'd say, a bright future ahead of him. He's a young kid. He's been training for about 4.5 years now. He's only a purple belt. But I've never seen him. The only time I've ever seen him get submitted in competition was a gi absolute, and that was to Jason Butcher when Jason was a black belt and Chris was a white belt. Other than that, Chris, I don't believe, has lost, never on submission anyway. He recently just won as a blue belt this summer. He won the West Virginia State title at purple belt in his weight class. He won the Purple Belt Open. He won the Nogi Advanced. He won the Nogi Absolute against the black belt from South Carolina. Chris is a definite up-and-comer. Nogi suits him very well. He's a very athletic and strong kid, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares against a lot of these more established competitors. The Gracie team consists of BJ Nelson, who's a two-time Masters World Champion at brown belt. And anybody in the jiu-jitsu scene that knows BJ, don't need to really speculate on that guy's skill sets. BJ's a very seasoned competitor. Another guy from the Helson Gracie Academy is going to be Salah Salim. He's recently just got his brown belt. He's a former champion from our organization, and Salah's very tough. I think he'll make a matchup problem for a lot of people just because of his build and he's really short and stocky, and he's got a powerful base, and his game translates pretty well to no-gi. And then the third person on that team is actually out of Gracie and Micah, Cleveland, which is Marcus Crawford. So again, Marcus is one of Darren Branch's, I would say, top students. And, Tom Cos told me a long time ago when he started training and Marcus came into Gracie and Micah, he said, man, Dustin, this kid Marcus, even a white belt, has got a bright, bright future. And anyone that's kind of followed him through our organization has seen that, like, his no-gi game is off the charts, his gi game is off the charts, and he's young, he's athletic, and he's got really good skills. So it'll be interesting to see, again, kind of like with Chris Harden, to see Marcus on this level of competition. And then rounding out the rosters, we have from Strong Style Brasa, three guys that I know one of them fairly well, but the other two I'm not 100%. I don't know too much about them. Maybe you guys are more familiar. Jeff Cox, who I am familiar with, was a UFC veteran. He's a definite grinder, more of a wrestling based kind of guy. They have a guy named John Gunther, who's a pro MMA fighter, but I know for a while he trained judo / jiu-jitsu under John Saylor, which John Saylor, Mike, I'm sure he's been around the grappling scene in Ohio for.
Compete a couple times, Dustin. John's very tough. He even competed at DC trials. I saw him, so he's definitely legit.
Yeah, I've heard good things. And then the last guy they have he's a wrestler. His name's Dave Wallbacker. I found that he was a 3-time NAIA All-American. So, obviously he's got an incredible wrestling base, and I don't think Pablo would have put him in there if he didn't think that his wrestling and just his grappling credentials and ability would be able to hold up against some of the other guys in this division. So I don't know much about his jiu-jitsu background, but obviously coming from Strong Style and training with Pablo and the other guys up there, that his base is going to be more than been credible in this particular division. So, that's the roster. I'm really excited with what we're able to put together and bring the fans up there and hopefully highlight some really good no-gi action for this tournament.
Yeah, we should be there to broadcast it. So, what else is going on? You have a few cash divisions this time?
So we have we once again we're letting the black belts come out and play. We're throwing a little bit of money to the black belt division, trying to encourage, always trying to encourage the black belts to come out and compete, especially when it's a tournament like this and they try to motivate their students. We always find that if the black belts will come out and compete, then maybe it's a little bit easier to get their students to come out and compete. So we're letting the black belts, BJJ black belts, I should probably specify, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts can compete for free. And, we're going to have it's very important you specify because you never know who might show up to want to compete against the black belt.
You never know who wants to be the next YouTube star.
Right. Exactly. So, which we actually, at my last tournament, side note, my last tournament at my academy, I run smaller tournaments, down here in Columbus, and we had a young man who I noticed, I threw me off. I'm looking at the registration information and look up and it says he's 16 and he's a brown belt. And so I called the number.
That sounds about right nowadays.
Yeah. And I was just like, man, let me make sure. And it was just not really miscommunication. They were a brown belt in their style of jiu-jitsu. And I tried to explain to the coach, I kind of said, well, I don't, he's 16. I let him compete against blue belts. He didn't win the division. I mean, the coach at least kind of heard me out and heard where I was coming from. And kind of when he got there, because he had a female that he was wanting to list as a brown belt as well, who was, I think, 15. And she's about the same size as a couple of the other girls over there, one of them being Autumn Gordon, who, again, full disclosure, is one of my students. She's a blue belt world champion. And I said, I think it'd probably be best for her to compete as blue belt. I don't think she's brown belt. There are no female brown belts, but, we'll see how she does in the blue belt division. And, of course, she did okay. I mean, she got beat, but it was at least they were more open-minded about it. They didn't have kind of a closed mind of, no, we're brown belts and we stand by it. They understood there was a difference. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. But it is free to all BJJ black belts. And, we've heard there might be a couple guys from this invite division that actually might jump in. I know BJ Nelson's possibly. I had heard from one of the black belts over at Rio Pro had expressed an interest. I think there might be a few of the other members from the Gracie Academy here in Columbus that have expressed interest in maybe competing in that division. So I don't know for certain because the black belts just have to show up that day. I don't ask them to email me or anything. I just kind of verify who they are when they get there, and then we throw them in. But there should be some good brown belts, definitely some black belts and brown belts. Really, there's probably about 20 or 30 purple belts signed up so far. So with registration for the adults staying open all the way until the day of the competition, we expect this to be a really competitive and probably, I don't want to say our largest because I never want to say that until I know for a fact, but definitely one of our larger competitions just based on the number of pre-registers we've received thus far and this far out from the competition. So it looks like Cleveland was a good addition to the rotation, and it's been so strong already that we're already coming back in May. So we've already scheduled that. Pretty much we've already scheduled out all of next year. We have 8 tournaments right now on schedule, and we've already pretty much got them plotted out for all of next year.
Tell us about the venue. Where's the venue at in Cleveland?
So it's going to be in Parma Heights, which is actually a suburb of Cleveland. It's just south of Cleveland by about 15 miles. It's at Valley Forge High School. Okay. And so they run wrestling tournaments and whatnot at this location. So I actually reached out to, originally we were going to hold the tournament at Cleveland State University, and then they dropped the wrestling program, they re-added the wrestling program, and then there was a logistical issue with volleyball or something else. And so we were kind of scrambling late summer to find a venue. And Chris Hoy, who's in the jiu-jitsu scene up there and the martial arts scene, I reached out to just people in the area, and he was able to kind of logistically make this thing happen. So honestly, without him, I wouldn't have been able to get this tournament off the ground. But it's going to be at Valley Forge High School in Parma Heights, like I said, just south of downtown Cleveland.
All right, and if people want more information, where do they go to find it?
Yeah, so online registration information, address, division information, everything you would need to know about this particular event is on our website, AmericanGrapplingChallenge.com. Obviously, you can find us on Facebook as well at American Grappling Challenge. But if they go to the website, they can just click on future events. And a little drop-down tab. It'll have November 14th on there, and it has all the information. I actually just updated it today, and it's got the address and, you know, talks about the black belts, and you guys are going to be there, and the T-shirts. It's got all the information they would need as far as registration. You know, the one side note is any youth competitors, they've got to register online before November 11th, because when we close it online, then the youth competitors can't register at the day of the tournament because we bracket all of them in advance. But all the adults can register all the way up until the day of the event. So, but they can find all that information on the website, AmericanGrapplingChallenge.com.
All right, and I think that'll do it for this primer. Thank you, Dustin.
Thanks for coming on,
No
Dustin.
problem.
We look forward to streaming it. Like us on Facebook. You know, you'll find the stream there. Like our YouTube channel, subscribe to it. You'll find the stream there as well as past tournaments we've done for Dustin. And yeah, just keep it locked here. Thanks, Dustin. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
That was
buddy.
great, guys. Thank you.